All right, my friends. So today I wanted to talk about calories in and calories out. And from here on out, I will probably refer to it as SECO. I'm not really sure if that's how people say it, but that's how I say it. When I'm talking about calories in, calories out, I'm not talking about the people who are intentionally under eating because they think that cutting all the calories out of their diet means that they are going to lose the weight in the best way possible. So I'm not saying that SECO people are the people that starve themselves. Of course, it's possible that they might be, but that's not what I'm saying when I talk about it. I think some people have this understanding that somebody who believes in SECO must be obsessive and calorie counters, and that's not always the case. I myself do not count any calories, but I still believe it's calories in and calories out. What I mean when I say SECO, I mean that ultimately, no matter how the input and output work out as far as calories go, if you are on average gaining or losing weight, you're either eating more than you'd burn or burning more than you eat, respectively. And that doesn't mean that we know exactly how that works. It's just a basic understanding that there's such a thing as energy burned and consumed. I am not claiming that anybody can track either of those numbers with any amount of accuracy. For one, not only are people notoriously bad at tracking calories and measuring what they're eating, but there are also so many factors that play into how many calories are actually absorbed in your body. I think that's what both sides can agree on. When it comes to calories consumed and absorbed, is it the first meal of the day? Are your glycogen stores already full? Have you been coming from a past of under eating for so long? Or have you been maintaining at such a high amount of calories that an extra 100 doesn't mean you're going to gain weight? What kind of calories did you eat? Was it raw and whole, or was it ultra processed and easily absorbed? Is your body in a state of stress? Where are your hormones at? What does your metabolic health look like? These are all factors that go into how many calories are absorbed in your body. And there's so many other things to consider as well. As far as calories burned, you can't track that accurately. In fact, I would claim that that one's the harder one to track. Say you ran 15 miles that day. Does that mean you burned an extra 1,500 calories on top of what you normally burn just by doing not much for the day? That might not necessarily be the case because maybe you're sitting on your butt because you're so tired from the day. Maybe some system in your body decided to shut down because you didn't feed it enough. Have you ever felt you were really cold when you've been particularly under eating for the day because your body doesn't feel like keeping you warm when it has other things it needs to focus on? On the opposite end of that, say you ate a lot of carb calories for the day, you might find your body is burning up, and that is normal because it's trying to burn off all the excess carbs. How much food you eat also affects how many calories you burn. So the more you eat, the more your body needs to digest, and that's just more calories that are used up to do the digesting. So I think it's possible to acknowledge that we understand that it's a calories in, calories out model, even if we don't understand exactly how those numbers are made up, because the human body is very complex. And while I don't count calories myself, I think we can acknowledge that the people that are very successful counting calories religiously and can see what happens with their body when they're counting can have enough information to be successful with it. It might not be accurate information, but if they're tracking in a way that is consistent across the board, we can see that they have enough information to be successful with their system. It doesn't make them wrong for using it as a tool, even if it's not a perfect science. It also doesn't make me wrong for not using it as a tool. Personally, if I need to tighten things up, I tend to drop the ultra processed foods and anything that might have overt fats in it. But it's doing the same thing ultimately. We're manipulating the amount of overall calories that we consume. And I'm not saying that all calories are equal when I say that, but I do think it's two different strategies that do the same thing. And while most of the world does acknowledge SECO, there's definitely a couple of camps that either one, believe that carbs or fat are magical calories that don't matter, especially in the vegan community. The vegan community used to parrot that you couldn't overeat on carbs and you didn't need to worry about it. In fact, you needed to cram in more because those calories will just disappear. It wasn't until maybe Chef AJ made calorie density more mainstream that people understood why that works so well for a lot of people. Or two, I think a lot of people have the same understanding of how calories work. It's just we like to call them different things. So somebody who says that SECO doesn't work or that SECO's not right understands exactly what I just said, and they might agree with that, but they just might not call it SECO. And I think that camp tends to believe that we all that say SECO is what's happening, I think they think that we think that 100 calories of an apple is the same as 100 calories of French fries. And that's not what I believe at all. I think that it would absorb differently and burn differently. And to be fair to them, there are a lot of people who do believe that 100 calories of French fries is the same as 100 calories of apples, but it's not what I'm talking about when I say that. I think that we probably agree on a lot more than we disagree. It's just a preference on how we want to communicate what's happening. And that's why I'm making this video, to clarify what I mean when I say SECO and why you can gain weight on sugar. Let me know in the comments below if you are somebody who doesn't like the term CICO, or if it's something you use regularly to explain how the human metabolism works.